How's it going, guys? Oddly unorthodox. We're back here feeling right as rain again and hitting you with another Total War gameplay. This time playing a race that I don't really get around to playing a lot. I believe they've always been quite a hard race to play, if you want my honest opinion. I think they're a race that definitely requires a bit more thought and a bit more strategy than some of the other races. That's not discrediting anyone else that may play other races, but I do feel like to be a good Beastman player, you have to really know some gimmicky stuff, which I do not. I am nowhere near a good Beastman player. I just thought I'd learn them so I can hopefully get them up on the channel a little bit, because I realise we're severely lacking some Beastman action. Simple build of triple Gore Herd, 2 Ungor Herds, triple Ungor Raiders, Malagor the Dark Omen, double Cygor, double Ungor Spearmen, and then we've got triple Tuskor Chariots over here. Let me talk you through what my idea behind this was. Going against Ogres and Nurgle, I did expect maybe some artillery play, and that's why I brought Tuskor Raiders, which to be fair I probably should have brought something a bit better because they're anti-infantry, which is not great, but they are armor piercing, so you know they would chew through some of the armoured units and help shut down some of the ranged units. And then the double Cygors, because I just thought, why not? I don't think I've ever really used them. Thought it'd be quite interesting to give the Cygors a go. And we have got a Dwarven ally who's running like max rank attack cannons. Ungrim, Dwarf Warriors, double Giant Slayers and Dragonback Slayers. And that's the whole of his army. And you can see the Cygors are throwing their rocks. One of the most interesting artillery pieces in the game. Beautiful models on tabletop. Absolutely stunning. And as you can see, I noticed that the rocks are not really doing as much as I'd like. So I'm going to hit some better targets. And I see the Festering Stooges there at the back. Kugath just throwing his poop at me, as Nurgle does. And now the Cygor have found a better target. I'd like to tell you more about the techniques and the strategies of playing Beastmen, but my techniques and strategies of Beastmen are a bit lackluster. You can see that we are starting to put some good hurt on those Festering Stooges, though, get rid of those nice and early. We'll even drop a third Cygor using the summon. Now, I do know that you can use that Cygor summon to drop on top of an enemy ranged unit and get them just to melee stomp the hell out of it. But I wanted the additional fire because I didn't really want those Festering Stooges getting into melee. We charge up and take the fight here. We're going to lose the melee fight pretty hard. But we're just going to hope to pepper them down with sheer numbers. Pendulum here. Quite a poor pendulum by me, if you ask. Really should have waited before I dropped that pendulum. But you see the Festering Stooges are really getting worked before they can even get in to use their ranged attacks. My Ungor Raiders are being run around, but nothing to worry about. They're cheap as chips and they're doing their job. Buying time for the more scary parts of my force. I don't know where he was throwing that rock, but apparently not in this world. You'd think having one eye they're about to throw better, but apparently not. Goddamn Cyclops. No, I just used 3 of them to max out that throw-in. That was a good rock. That's the sort of rocks we're looking for. You can see I'm getting absolutely pummeled by rocks, which was quite humorous if you ask me. We use our Tuskor Chariots to sort of buy us some time. We run them in there and managed to get a nice Flock of Doom upgraded, hitting on 3 squads. And the Tuskor Chariots will shut down that Tyrant, and then these 2 squads I'm using to shut down the Lead Belchers. Not a great fight for them, but it does do the job. We're in a bit of a nasty brawl here, but in all fairness, I'm happy to take the brawl. I've got the Nurglings coming on the side as well, but it doesn't really bother me. I'd rather have the majority of the forces fighting me, purely because my dwarfs have got better units than I have. So we run down that chariot, stop that. We are slowly getting through the Lead Belchers, and you can see the Festering Stooges are pretty much done. What are we throwing at next? Lead Belchers, apparently. That rock looked like it really hurt. Out of all things to be killed by in Total War, you know, the Warhammer world, could you imagine? You go to war and you get hit by a flying rock. The worst part is, at least if it come from like a trebuchet, you could sort of respect the fact of how great the engineering is. But to get thrown at by a Cygor or a big ogre to lob a rock at you, that'd be quite a worrisome way to go. We end up dropping the second Cygor summon to throw more rocks, mainly because this is really quite making me laugh. I was enjoying the gameplay when I was watching, when I was actually playing it, and I couldn't give a damn about what was happening with the rest of my army. They're fine. I was just watching the Cygors throw rocks. I found it quite humorous, because occasionally some rocks would really hit quite well. Some would miss by miles, but others I quite liked. Right, throw another one. You can just see one rock there, misses completely. Another rock goes in, knocks a couple of them out. Third rock goes in, knock another one out. I think I should just bring an army of Cygors in the future. But like I said, I would love to give you more of a tactical view on how to win this game as Beastmen. But anyone that actually plays Beastmen is probably going to be better than me at Beastmen currently. Don't get me wrong, I will keep learning, putting in experience, watching YouTubes and streams, and I will come back to you with some epic Beastmen strategies and how they counter certain factions. Personally, I think Beastmen would be a great faction to play into Wood Elves. I think you can take away a lot of the sneaky shenanigans that Wood Elves like, and you've got a really high mobility roster capable of shutting down the Way Watchers. But at this point, you can see it's pretty much done. We use a Doom and Darkness just to break those off. I'm pretty sure I was just running out on... Oh, sorry for the hiccup. I was running really low on Winds of Magic, and that's all I could afford, so I just thought, we'll drop that. I also like the Cygors smack them with the rock. They don't drop the rock and start punching them. They just actually whack them with a rock. Let's see if we can get that cool animation. Here we go. Just squeezes the rock on their head. We send the Cygor's brother over to help break them. We don't want to leave one Cygor out to dry. And now I see a load of units over there that my chariots are in, and I'll decide what a better way than to spend my time than to throw rocks at my own units. And you'll see what happens quite shortly. It's quite a sad scenario really, but you can see that we do end up winning this fight at the bottom. Beastmen really showing their quality of units. Maybe some Beastigor herds would have been a lot better in this build. They're anti-large. The Man Rippers as well probably would have been really good. So learn from my mistakes and the fact that ogres have a lot of large units. So probably bring some Beastigors. But you can see we break them off. Malagor's done absolutely nothing all game, but we'll leave him to it. 375 value, Jesus. Really not great, but you can see here that, you know, the Cygor summons and stuff like that brings back some of his value. We speed it up a little bit, but it's pretty much done. We're just throwing rocks now for the sake of it. Pretty sure we're just waiting for Kugath to die over here, even though he's been absolutely ganked. I don't think Fleshy Abundance is going to save him. And that's the video there. Let's have a look at some of these totals and what I managed to get out of them. I'd just like to point out first that those Veteran Stooges we dealt with. 238 value on them, even though, you know, they cost quite a lot more. The Cygors, they paid for themselves about, so I suppose you can look at that to score chariots. Anti-large ones would have been a lot more effective than what I brought. The Gore herds sort of got a bit of a rough deal being run in, but I'm more than happy with what they did. And you know what? The Ungors, they're just there to sort of run away and distract. Because they're not going to win a fight in the slightest. This has been Oddly Unorthodox. If you've liked, enjoyed, make sure you comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you on another video tomorrow.